Dean asked me to give a presentation on QuickQSL, so here we are. This is what we plan to cover. First of all, Debbie and I will give you some background of why we created the website. We'll go through a demo, just a quick demo first of showing how to actually create the cards, upload your ADI file to the website, and then create the cards. And then we'll talk about different options. You can optionally set your font colors. You can add club icons to your cards. We'll show you how to do that. And then at the end of the presentation, if there's time, item number 4 there is printing saved cards that you've received from other people. By now, I imagine some of you have gotten quite a few email cards from people. If you need to print those out, I wrote a little utility. I'll show you that you can use to upload all your individual JPEGs, and then it'll create a PDF for you. And that way you can print them out and save some paper. And then at the end, we'll have a question and answer, and hopefully we can come up with the right answers. All right, so let me get rid of this now. Now I'll bring up NetLogger to start with, just to tell you how you get your ADI. Well, I think most of you on the call probably know how to do this already, but just in case. So this is my NetLogger. I'm going to create a file that we can play with, and we'll pick KL70R to pick on. Go down and select some cards. I'm going to highlight the first card, our first contact I want. I'll go down and select the last one and hold down the Shift key. So now I've got those selected. Go up to File, Export, to ADI, select the contacts. And we'll just call this Dean. We'll save it. Okay, so I exported 13 contacts with KL70R. So we'll minimize this. Go to our website. All right. All right, so this is the website, simply QuickQSL.com. This is what you see. All the stuff at the top here are basically help information. For now, we'll ignore that just for now, but we'll start with selecting your ADI file, the one that you just created. Excuse me. I'll hit select or choose file, select Dean, open, and then you can go down to the bottom here and select a picture or background. And I think I already have one set. Yeah, that one. And so just real quickly, let me show you how it looks.
Oh, like the baseball one.
Yeah. So here are the cards that's created. So there's what, should be 13 of them. Can you guys see the cards okay?
Yep. Yep.
And we'll go over some of the information, but here's my call sign. I was mobile in Arizona. Dean was at home. He's in the state capitol. There's all of our contact information. QSL message. So I was in Phoenix at the state capitol. Combo with K9DPB. And then at the bottom are my awards for that band and mode. And let me go up and look at a different one here real quick. Like this one, for instance, 40 meters. you'll notice it only has my 100-point number on here, and that's because back in September of 22, that was the only award that I had on 40 meters. Today, if I if I sent you a card, it'll have 100 point, 500, 1K, and 2K. It'll print all of those in there. All right, so let's go back. And now, optionally, what you can do is you click on this link here where it says click here to select font colors, club logos, etc. You get some more options. As you saw on my cards, I had a club icon on either side of the card. On the left side, there was the Century Club logo. And on the right side, I had the ARRL. And there's a few that you can select from. Century Club first, Triple H Net, NADA, OMIS, PODA, a few others. And you can put these on either side or both if you wanted to. So just like that and have Century Club on both sides if I like. By default, all the font colors are black. If you wanted to, you can change your call sign to a different color. Same with QSL message or your award numbers. So let me see how that looks. Okay, so there, my call sign changed to red. Club logos, Century Club logos on both sides now. And one other little use feature, I don't see many people using this except for me. If you click this option here, it's not very clear, I know, but what it does is it makes the background behind the call details semi-transparent. So let me just show you what I mean. So up here, if you look carefully, you can actually see through the white, so you can see the card going through there. Some of the cards look, in my opinion, better if you can see more of it, but it's just a little thing that I put on mainly for me. All right, before we go on, any questions so far?
Hey, Dave, this is Tim.
Yeah.
No questions, but I don't know if anyone knows this. Once, if you put your saved ADIF file, if you put it in the same folder all the time, then
Right.
Dave's program always looks in that folder first. It just makes it really simple. If you keep everything in the same place, once you have searched for it in that correct location, Dave's program will always go to that folder when you click choose file.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. And also, once you optionally set a font color, or even if you select a background, the next time you go into the website, it will remember those as well. So once you select a background, if that's what you like to use all the time, then you don't have to select it the next time.
How did the program know that it was Dean?
Well, when I saved it earlier today before I got on the call, I had actually done that, so it just remembered Dean from the last time.
So he didn't have to log in. It left him a cookie or something.
No, I think that's built in. That's part of the web browser. So
okay.
Use the file selection in a web browser, it remembers the last directory or folder that you selected a file from. So it'll go back to that.
Thank you.
And I just realized we skipped over the why we did this, right? The reason that we decided to host this is because we frequently got asked the question, how did you make your cards? And can we get that program? We want to do cards like yours. And for Debbie and I, there's a program that I wrote that we use to create the cards and to do some other things. And it's actually the same program that we use for the QSL Bureau, the DX Bureau. That program isn't something that I'm ready to share with anyone, so we came up with the idea of putting it on the website, which actually I think is better because there's no program to install on your PC. You simply upload your contacts that you want to print and to the website and press a button and there you are. And so that was the reason why we did it. Also, really for selfish purposes, we like getting QSLs, and we particularly like getting QSL cards that have all of the award numbers on them. I'm sure that some of you have experienced this. You go to the eyeball, you get a whole bunch of cards from people, and guess what? Most people don't put their information on the cards. So that was the reason. Am I forgetting anything, Debbie?
No, just to give back to the community, you know, being able to host something. It doesn't have to be specific to the Century Club, although, you know, it obviously has these features because this is what we use and this is where we hang out. But if you are using NetLogger and you want to, you know, you're visiting Ole Miss, HHHNet, wherever you're at, you can upload those files and create cards. So we use NetLogger for logging all of our contacts, including when we're just spinning the dial, you know, and it makes it really easy for us just spinning the dial to come across somebody we want to work. POTA, I'm surprised. They're probably shocked to get a card from me. If I work a POTA station, I stick a little POTA icon on the card. I put the park number in the QSL message and send off a card to them, you know. So just a way for anybody that wants to use it can use it, and we're happy to be able to do it.
All right, and then also, and I'll show you this in just a second. You know, not only can you create the cards and download the PDFs, you can also email the cards, which has turned out to be the biggest feature of this, especially since the cost of postage has gotten so high. Another big reason why we use it is to save money on sending cards. All right, let's see what else we got. All right, went through the demo quickly of creating the cards. Let me show you if you want to send them via email. So we've already had the ADI file selected up here. If we hit send cards via email, comes up with a list of all your contacts that you uploaded. And all of them are selected if they have an email address. All right, so Dean has an email and QRZ, so all of his were selected here. If I only wanted to send him a few cards, I can unselect the ones I don't want to send him. Go down to this little box here. You can optionally put in a note to the person that you're emailing. And for the contacts. And then when you hit send email, go through. Oh. Get ready, Dean. All right, so now it sent the email to KL7OR, and then it said some cards were not emailed. And so it displays the ones that weren't selected, and these are those. It puts it into a PDF file for you. And the reason why some cards may not get emailed is the most common is because they don't have an email address. Or they do have an email address, but for some reason they've asked not to receive cards with QuickQSL. And so in that case, it won't email them. It won't let you even select them. But what you could do is actually print the cards out now from your PC if you like. Cut them out, put them in envelopes, and send them via the post office.
Dave, I have a question, WK1J.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, just on the email, if, and I don't think you can do it, but when the list comes up of the, say you have a new station and you happen to know his email address
Right.
and it is not in QRZ, is there a way you could type that in so it gets sent?
Currently there isn't. It's something that I've talked about. It'd be pretty simple to do. And the reason I didn't do it from the beginning is because I use a email provider to send all the emails through. And they keep track of how many bounces, how many times an email bounces and how many times someone reports it as spam. They keep track of when they say they want to unsubscribe. And so I guess my concern in the beginning at least was if you type in the email address and it's incorrect, or you type in the email address and it's someone that's already asked not to receive them, then that might be a problem. But,
Okay, understand. It just the Ukraine station that checks in, UI2 VM.
right.
I have Victor's email address, and what I've done now is after the cards, like you're showing, I save it, and then I mail it separately to him. But there are some times where, because you're involved in contesting or whatever, maybe what that email address is. And I understand the other side of the coin of, just creating a mess by sending a bunch out that don't have correct email addresses. Okay, that was just a question. Yeah, I understand. It's not a problem. I just wanted to just ask the question. Thanks.
Yeah, no, I'll give it some thought as to, one option is like you suggested, being able to type it in yourself. The other option potentially is if you send me the person's email address and you tell me that he's not going to complain, then I can create a separate list for people like that.
Okay.
Quick
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, Debbie says that she wants that email address, by the way, Dave.
We have not been able to reach him at all. Yeah, and we're real picky. We try to make sure that we do right by the email server because the deal that we have with them is very cost effective. It doesn't cost us next to nothing to be able to put this out there. They found a real good deal with it, and we don't want to mess that up because if something was to happen to this email client, we might not be able to host it anymore if we had to start paying like some of these places want to be able to email cards and stuff. So,
Understand.
Quick question.
Sure.
Hey, first of all, I love that on the previous screen it saves that message, so you don't have to retype it every time.
Oh yeah.
Same here.
That's something
That's big.
several people asked for. I think you did first. Yeah.
And also, if somebody does want to unsubscribe, and I've been asked, how do they go about that?
All right. Dean, can you share your screen briefly and show them the email that you got?
Maybe. Give me a second.
Or I might be able to find one of mine too.
I'm sorry. I just if somebody asks me, what I don't want to get them anymore. What do I do?
He'll show you how easy that is.
Did I miss it earlier? Sorry.
No, the email.
No, he said he will.
Email has unsubscribe in it.
So the email that they get at the bottom of the email, it has a button to unsubscribe.
and that unsubscribes from the complete service, not just that individual sending you cards. So in the beginning, when we had the learning curve, because it kind of went crazy when we first put it up, we had at least one person I can recall that said unsubscribe. But then when I was talking to that person, they said, well, I was just getting all these duplicates and I didn't want to get the duplicates. And I said, well, you need to decide. If you want to unsubscribe, you will never receive an email card from anybody, not just the person that sent you the duplicates. And they
Right.
were like, oh, well, no, I want to be able to receive cards. So, so if you get asked that question, just make sure people understand that they won't receive any cards that way from anybody.
Okay. That answers my question. Thank you. And continue on.
All right, let me see what else I've got. Talk about that. All right, as far as the basics, I think that's it. There's some additional things that you can do. If you want us to go through that? Let's go back to the web page. The stuff I told you to ignore for now. These are basically help screens that pop up on the side like that. So as far as selecting your station location or setting your station location in NetLogger, hopefully you guys have this set up already, because it's very, very helpful. So this is where the website gets the state that you're located in, for instance. Let's see if I can throw this up. So for instance, I have a station location named Mobile, Connecticut, with the club and special event. And I have it set so that my state, when I'm using this location, is Connecticut. I also have a club and special event turned on. I have those call signs in here. They're both mobile. And should have me mobile too someplace. Yeah, right here. So if I have that information set, and for this station location, each time I log a call or a contact, it'll create an entry with me in Connecticut mobile. And since I have these two turned on, it'll also create two additional entries in NetLogger, one for the club and one for the special event. So that's just an example. Let me get rid of
1 second.
And if you're doing all the cards with the same background, you do not have to do it by the operator. You can select all the cards
clubs and
special event. If you're doing them all with the same background, you just select them all and it pulls that information. So it's not, obviously if you want to do a different background for your club and a different background for your special event, you'd have to divide those up into different ADI files that you create. But if you're going to do them all with the same background, just load them all and it'll grab the correct information. We had somebody we were working with that was trying to do the QuickQSLs by the operator. So they waited till they contacted this person a couple times, and then they were searching for that in their log and then doing it that way. You don't have to. You can, the simplest way is you're on a net, you make 5 contacts, you finish the net, you upload 5, you grab those 5 contacts, make your ADI for that, and you upload those 5 and you send them out. So you don't have to do them one at a time. You don't have to do them by operator. Just do them all.
I've got a question, VE3 CMB. So, for example, in that example, Dave, your club and special event, if they do not need a card, is there a way of defaulting that in the NetLogger setup, or do you have to manually go and change it to no?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. So let me show you that real quick. One of the things you can do, where is it on here? All right, let's look at this. You can in NetLogger, you can set up a field, a text message, if you will, that you can include on your card. For instance, if you're a club officer, your vice president, or area director, etc., you can have it so that that's printed at the top of your card on every card that you make. And you click here, it tells you the instructions on how to do that right here. This thing here. I won't spend a lot of time on this call. I think before the eyeball this summer, we'll have another meeting and we'll invite people if they want some help setting up their net longer to get ready for eyeball. But yes, you can. And I think you do this already, don't you, Craig? Don't you do this for?
Yes, I do. However, when you log a contact, obviously my club logs a contact as well.
Right.
And I have a default on mine that says QSL please or whatever it is.
Right.
But the club was coming up with the same QSL please. So I don't want cards for the club. So I have to go back into NetLogger where you are there and scroll over and manually mark the club for each of those contacts as not required.
Right.
Can that be defaulted for the club only to not required? Do you know in NetLogger?
I don't think NetLogger has any space in there that would show whether something was not requiring a card, because I think that's just in the ADI file under the confirmed received by that area of NetLogger. You can do, if you're marking those as no card in that that field, you can do those multiple at one time. You don't have to do them individually. You could literally, I don't know if you know how to do that. You could highlight a group of contacts and do a mass change, so that would save you some time. But I don't think NetLogger has a like on-off button for cards requested. So
okay.
Yeah, that's too bad too.
Does the NCS?
Debbie, this
Yes.
is Dick Powell. When you start a net on NetLogger and you click and downline load the club profile, if Craig checks in and I type him in as, VE3CMB, and then he has a club, when I type the club in and I tab over, up in the remarks field comes in no card alpha that profile. I don't have to put it in.
But the remarks field or that field is not used like in the station location anywhere to know that it doesn't need a card. And that's what QuickQSL is using, the NetLogger station location stuff to determine that, or what's in the log showing the sent and received functions of to get it to print either a please QSL or thanks QSL. And I don't know if many people use those fields or not. A lot of times you're saying please QSL, and at the same time you're getting the confirmation anyway, so it doesn't really matter. They're crossing in the mail or something. So.
Okay, well then it brings me back to the question and all the examples I sent to Dave, and it had to do with logging Croatia. And Johnny was remote in Croatia. Dave looked at the ADIF file as net control. I typed his call sign in. I hit a /P for portable. Instead of state, I put in DX, and I put in Croatia in the remarks field, because that's the email that I got from Dean saying this is the correct way to log in a DX contact. You put in the country they're in the remarks field.
Right.
And the question I had for Dave was, when I went to QuickQSL after the net, I had worked Johnny and I wanted to send him a card, and I created the QuickQSL card, and Dave clarified why the portable didn't show up, but the 9A Croatia that's in the remarks field where we're supposed to put it is not in the station location field for for Johnny. So how do we send him a quick QSL that indicates that he was in Croatia?
Right.
If we don't pick up the remarks field, which is where we're supposed to put either the 9A or the name of the country. That was all. It's not a big deal. It's just if you generate a card and it doesn't say Croatia, even though he's portable DX, it won't go in through an awards manager.
Right. And I hear you, but unfortunately, the remarks field is kind of a catch-all. Like we put all kinds of stuff in there, not just.
Okay, no, that was all.
Yeah.
So as a net control operator, even though we put in no card or Croatia, none of that is going to be picked up when we generate a quick QSL card. That's all I wanted to know.
Right. Yeah, that's correct.
No, and I would put it in the QSL message, Dick. I would have just edited my QSL message on that contact to say thank you for portable Croatia 9A or whatever I wanted to write. So
Dick, a while back, not within the last month or so, at one of these meetings, we talked about it, and the country really needs to go in the country field, not remarks. I mean, if you can put it in remarks, but it also needs to go in the country field.
Okay. But the country field still doesn't get picked up by, as far as I know, quick QSL.
So that's correct. I could do that. I could look to see if the state is DX and then print out the country, assuming that it's not, United States. Yeah, I could do that.
Well, I didn't want to make more work. I just, from a net control point of view, if we're logging the people in,
right.
And I've actually printed Dean's email out and I have it taped up in the corner of my monitor. So when I type in, whatever, UI2 VM, and then I make sure it's DX. And then in the original email, it was to put, Ukraine in the remarks field.
Right. Yeah.
So if now we're supposed to put it in the country field, then in NetLogger, I can, I guess, move way over to the country field and put it in there. But it will not be in a remarks field where normally we'd put it in the past. It's just so we know what we're doing.
Yeah, we need to set a standard, I guess.
That would
but
be
I agree, Dick. I think a lot of people are accustomed to seeing it in the remarks field, so we have to have some education, I guess.
Yeah, there's always going to be those couple of things that are going to have to be looked at before you go to use QuickQSL. I always look through what is my QSL message, and I look at each contact before I send, because if someone's at a national park, we use the remarks field to put what park they're at. Well, that's not going to come over, and they need to have that park name. So if I see that I work somebody and it was a national park, I make sure that on that QSL message, I go in there and I type that national park in there. If it's a portable DX, like you said, for example, I make sure I go edit that particular one. Or if I worked a combo, I add that individual stuff into that QSL message for those stations. So we're always going to have a couple, like they said, the remarks. We wouldn't want to pull in and print everything that's in remarks, because we use remarks to remember who we used for a relay to get that station in that we couldn't hear. So that was really funny printing on somebody's card. So
right.
I think it would be better just to try to remember before you make your ADI file, to look at those contacts you're going to do, and make sure that anything that's out of the ordinary is, into your QSL message for that contact. So.
Okay, that's great. Just a quick one, Debbie. When the net's over and you look at the ones you're going to send cards to, you go into QSL message and, put in whatever you want. do you have to hit the check button to relog it so that that new QSL message is saved, or is it automatically saved when you change it?
If you change it in your log, in NetLogger, down at the
Right.
bottom,
Yes.
as soon as you change it, it's saved. So you don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you would like come into here and double click into this QSL message, type whatever you wanted into there, and you know, whatever, and then click out of there, and now that's in there.
Okay. I didn't know if you had to relog it to get it in the log. That was all.
No, you can edit any of these fields, and that's the beauty of it. And going back to what Craig was saying,
Put in this field
yeah,
here.
let me just take this out of Dave's log so he doesn't. Where's the QSL?
Just to the left there, Debbie.
The X there.
Yep.
So the received confirmed by, these two, like if this is what the fields that you would use to be able to say the sent or received. So if you wanted to, Craig, to make it easier for you, if you want to mass change something, we'll use these blank ones. Let's just say that all these are your club card, okay? And
Yep.
you don't want to get that. You can highlight these, and then up under, I believe it's edit, custom contact. Is that what it's not? Where is it at? I gotta find it. Let me find where it is really quick.
It'll be under edit.
Oh, here it is. One down. Modify selected contacts. Okay. Replace field. Brings up this. What field do I want to replace? Well, I want to replace received confirmed by. So I want to go find those. I'm just like stretched out over Dave's computer here.
Get closer.
Where's it at here? Is it one that we can change?
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. Receive confirm. And what's the value? Well, to make it a no card needed, I want it, you put an X in there. And then when I say okay, it puts all the X's in for those contacts.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
So,
Thank you.
So this is a feature that we didn't know about for a while, that you could do mass changes at a time. And boy, that's come in handy when you forget that you were an NCS, or, you know, you forgot to, move over, you went mobile in a different state or whatever, and you forgot to change your default location.
Yeah.
You can go fix multiple things at one time really quickly instead of having to edit individual entries. So that's something that we learned too.
Perfect.
N1ABY has a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, those in the QSL message, you have some of them where there's just blank. So does that default to something, or there is no QSL message?
There is no QSL message.
Okay, all right.
And going back to the QSL message, if you have a standard one, like normally all of ours will say combo with or whatever, that's using that default QSL message under setup. So you can set yourself a default QSL message of whatever it is, and once you type in what your default is, then you come here and you say use it by putting the check mark next to it, and then that's always going to use that message. So I mean, there's several ways to do the same thing. You could use you're out at a try point, and you want to be able to put your state, what state you are at in the QSL message, you know, and indicate that it was a try point because people work towards those awards. The only way to do this would be one place. You would set your default QSL message for all those contacts. You know, I was at, you know, blah, 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 try point, and have that enabled for when you log those contacts. You know, the other place to put it is in the other area.
Right.
On your station location. So,
right.
there's a couple different ways to do the same thing. So.
So for instance, if, where is it? Station location.
I'd suggest, I'm not a QuickQSL user, but I would suggest with some of these complex things, test it out very easily by sending yourself a QSL card.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, when Dave's practicing, you know, that's what I end up getting lots of QSL cards from Dave.
Yeah.
You know, he just uses, you know, to figure out, and that's one of the things I like to always display my cards that I'm going to send before I send them. I don't upload the file and just hit the email. I like to look at what the cards and make sure that what I've got in there is going to be correct before I send it. So.
Okay, so look at the screen. There's a couple of examples. The first one, where it says Arizona State Capitol, you see it's enclosed within square brackets. And if it's in square brackets, they'll get printed on every card, including clubs and special events. So if I took a club and a special event to Phoenix and I printed my cards, all of my cards, one from AI 4K and from whatever club and whatever special event, it'll say Arizona State Capitol. And then the next one, the ones that are in the we call them curly brackets, squiggly brackets. That message will only get printed on the card from AI 4K, only from me, not the club and the special event.
And he's showing that in the station notes, which is the same as under your station location. Let me pull one up here.
That's a good one.
Typing it in here. It's just this would show up in any contact that he makes while he's under this station location. So that's where we put our NCS when we're in. This is his NCS station location. So it automatically will put that information on the cards that he logs when he's under that one. And it's in the squiggly, so it only prints on his main operator card. So if he enabled a club in here, it wouldn't show up on those. But if it was something that he wanted on all of them, he would just change this to the square brackets, and then it goes on any of them.
Right, and you could have both. You could have both the square brackets and the squigglies, and it would print both messages on the cards.
I just learned something new.
We definitely, like I said, we'll put something together and invite people that want some help setting up, especially prior to eyeball, because it will save you a ton of time logging, and then if you have it all in there, and all you got to do is remember to change your location, before. And for those of you that may not know, is that you have, how do you get your little thing? Oh, cancel that. This is where you set this is his default. This is just when he's sitting at home. This is when he's portable. This is, this is your key here. Is remembering before you start logging to change that. And we'll definitely set up something, invite everybody so that they can get that all set up prior to eyeball and be able to answer. Bye, Tim.
Bye, Tim.
No, I was waving to Jeff. He said now.
Thank y'all very, very much. That was very helpful.
Jeff.
Very
I have
helpful.
a question for you,
Good night,
Debbie.
y'all.
Yes.
When you're setting up a station location and you've got your ITU zone, your CQ zone, your grid square and all that stuff, That's all a manual function. There's no automatic way to do that in NetLogger, is there?
Not that I'm aware of. And
Okay,
most of
I haven't
that-
found
most
one
of-
either.
Most of that stuff doesn't even print out anywhere, so we don't generally even bother with that.
Okay.
And the other thing I'll mention is that, you know, feel free to call and ask us any questions, or if you're not getting the results that you think you should be getting, as we like to tell people that we've talked to, tech support is open till midnight Central Time. So we'll definitely help people through this that are wanting to use it, because we found it to be a huge time saver for us. Most people, you know, very few people have said they, you know, don't enjoy using it, so, or receiving the cards. So we've been pleased with it. Oh, you want to show them that little program for?
Oh, at the end.
Yeah, at the end. So.
And by the way, you know, this was directed, you know, mostly toward NetLogger. But Dean has made a change to CC Logger. If you wanted to, you could do the same thing. You could export contacts out of CC Logger and upload them to QuickQSL if you like. Before we wrap up, I wanted to show you one other thing. Check this out. I think I mentioned already a tool that you could use to print various one-offs of QSL cards that you've received via email. Down at the bottom of the page, there's a little link. If you click on that, that takes you to that utility. And so from here, you can select, I don't know that I really have any.
Go into your income.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
And this works for your EQSLs, because I know a lot of us will grab our EQSLs off of there, and then we save the images, and at least that's what we used to do. We used to save them, and I used to wait until I had 4, and then I'd insert them as images on a page, and then print them out, and you know, cut them out and then file them. That's going back before all this, and so if you saving stuff and then you're if you're saving stuff and then you're wanting to be able to print them because you need to put them in your card box or whatever, or simply you want them all on a PDF to send to your manager or something. Yeah. There they all are. He just grabbed, I don't know how many.
Like about 8 or so.
And that fits 4 to a page. You're saving your paper. And I know a lot of people will say, well, I don't have the color printer. There's nothing that says a QSL card has to be in color. You know, you can, and I just recently heard or saw somebody type maybe on Facebook that they, or somewhere, that they literally just print off their cards on regular copy paper and file them that way.
Works.
I mean, it's pretty cheap. So.
All right. Any more questions from anyone?
Are you ready for the onslaught of business come March?
Yes. I hope we are.
Because you're going to get buried in business.
Yeah, we got we've upgraded the server. We bought a UPS, so in case there's any power problem. And like I said, and Dave got a real good deal with the email client, so it's really
very, very low cost.
Very, very low cost on the amount of emails that are being sent out. So
you all did a great job.
No, I do have one more question.
Sure.
Is there a facility to change the background image? And if it was answered already, I apologize. Is there a way to put my own background image? Like, say, if I want to put my state flag on the background?
If you, I can create. Let me just back up. So couple reasons why we don't have the ability to use your own background on here, and a lot of it has to do with copyright infringements and being very careful that what we put out there is not copyrighted in any way, and we're not going to be in trouble.
Right.
The other thing the reason why they're muted in color is for those people that do have color printers and trying to help them, that want them in color and, that type of thing. So that we meet them. But if someone has an image that they want up there, as long as they're fine with everybody else being able to use that image, like Max, W6PNY's Buffalo, those two buffaloes are, if you've gotten one of Mac's hard cards, those are his cards. And I've seen quite a few people use his buffalo.
Yeah.
Just send me the image of what you're looking for, and I will
Put it up there for you.
mute it a little bit, so that's there, and we'll put it up there. That's the baseballs that Jeff was talking about. He took that picture himself, sent it to me and said, would you put this up on the website because I want to use it. So we'll rotate some of them in and out, I guess. Some of them get used more often than not. If you've got an idea of something that you want up there, or you have a picture of something you want up there, just send me an email and let me see what I can do with it or find it. Because it's just, images that I go searching for. I don't know what people want on their cards. It's kind of like throw it out there. So.
Thanks for the polar bear background. I like that one.
Yeah.
I don't know which one's the polar bear.
So
Dave and Debbie are very accommodating. They put my club's logo in there to use when I took the club with me to Michigan last year.
I mean, if you've got a logo that you want to be able to put on your card, like I said, as long as you don't care if someone else uses it for some reason, it doesn't make a difference to me. We'll put it up there. You know me, I like to change my background all the time.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
So Debbie, I take it we can't use one of our own pictures.
You can't. If you want me to look at it and put it up here and have it available to everybody, send it to me. But if it's something that that's not copyrighted, you took the picture or whatever, then we'll put it up there. Like I said, I've been real careful about making sure that the images that are up there are not copyrighted, because I certainly don't want someone coming back and saying that we're not allowed to use an image or being in trouble for doing something like that. So.
They'll want money if you do that.
Yeah, we demand.
So that's why you want oversight for your legal protection, not necessarily. That's why you don't have that option.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much the main reason. The other thing is that it is, there's a little bit of work involved in taking an image and getting it to fit correctly on the card. And there's been some images that I really like, but the way that the QSO information, without then getting into total customization and being able to move your box for your QSO information here and then moving your, call sign over here, the image is kind of silly, So we try to keep it just real basic. It's like I say, it's quick QSL, something very quick and simple. You don't have to give it much thought. Just push and go.
Well, thank you for all you and Dave do, Debbie. I appreciate it.